Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at and installing our Curt 4-pole wiring for our 2024 Ford Escape. One of the things I like about this wiring is it's able to be routed right up underneath the back of the vehicle where it's really accessible. Another nice thing about it is all of the components for this one, all the major things like your box and your power wires and everything are stashed in the back where they're out of the elements. Sometimes when you install some of these, they will be back under here and they're subjected to the elements like your rainwater and everything splashing up, or mud, dust, and dirt. This one's all tucked away inside, so you don't have to worry about that. This is going to be a good option for anybody that's looking to pull a small trailer, or maybe you have a bike rack that has accessory lighting on it. Some cargo carriers, you can also have those. So this is a good option for anybody with their Escape to be able to have something to easily plug into and pull a little small trailer if you want. It's going to keep you legal going down the road. You're going to have your brake lights, you're going to have your turning signals for both sides, and you're going to have tail lights on that also. So it's going to keep you legal, and it's also going to have the ability to show people behind you what your intentions are while you're going down the road. So if you have any questions or comments about this wiring, feel free to leave a comment below. As far as installation for this one, it's not too involved. Everything's done right here in the back with this one, and even your power supply, so you don't really even have to run a wire forward. Everything is done right here in the back. But if it's something you don't have time to do yourself, you can always take a look at our dealer locator and get something done for you locally. If it's something you feel like doing yourself, stick around, watch our video, and we'll help you get it installed. To start our wiring installation, we're going to need to get our hatch popped open. And in the back, we're going to want to get our floor coverings removed. And that's pretty easy to do. All we do is just lift up on them and slide those back. Now we can get those out of the way. On our passenger side, we're going to have our foam organizer, and in that we're going to have our PCM, and we just want to carefully move that out of the way. Now we can remove our foam, and we'll just set that carefully aside. On our driver's side, we have our jack, and I'm just going to get that pulled out of the way for now. Because we're going to need room to pull our panel over. Now we'll get our foam back here out of the way. That's just going to pop up and pull out. Now with the 7mm socket, we're going to remove these two screws behind our threshold. Now with those removed, we can pull up on our threshold and just get that started. And that will pop up and out of the way. Now for our panels, we just want to get up underneath the edge of it right here by where our sill is and just work under that, and that's going to pop out for us. And we just pull away, work our way up along the edge, carefully pop that out, and that's going to give us access behind the panel. Now for our black wire that we have off of our box, I'm going to go ahead and get my power wire extension put on this now, because it is going to be back in a confined space and it can be a little tricky to crimp back in there. And also we're going to be using a heat shrink butt connector, and that's going to require a heat source to get this shrunk down, so I'd rather do this out here in the open. So I'm just going to put that on our stripped end of our wire that comes out of our box. Get that crimped in place. Now I'll take our extension wire that comes in our kit, and I'm just going to get an end of that stripped off. Maybe just a little more. And get that twisted. Now we can crimp that into place. Okay, once we get that crimped, just want to give it a little tug, make sure we have a good connection. Now with my heat source, I'll get that shrunk down and into place. When we're doing these, we're just looking for most of the bubbles to come out of them and kind of move it around a little bit so we're evenly getting it to shrink down. And once we get a lot of the bubbles out, you'll start seeing gel coming out of the end, and that's what we're looking for. On our driver's side is where we want our yellow and brown wire to go with our connections. So right here on the back wall of our car, we have the black plug. I just want to push in on that clip and pull up on that connection. Now with that out, we're just going to take one end of our wiring harness and plug that in. And then our other end, we can get that plugged in as well. Let's line up our slots. Get that clicked into place. You will hear an audible click. Just give it a little tug, make sure you have a good connection, which we do. After taking a look at this a little closer, we did decide to move our box over here because our wire, our 4-pole wire that's going to be coming out of our vehicle isn't really long, and we're going to end up running it through the floor over here through a grommet and out to our mount. Now, a lot of times you can get away with just leaving this in the back of your vehicle, but our neighbor wants to have it mounted outside with a permanent mount. So we're going to have this sitting right here, and we're going to end up grounding right to the back of our vehicle here with our white wire. Now we'll just take our white wire and we'll take our self-tapping screw that comes in our kit, and get that grounded right there, and we have a good solid connection. Now we can tuck our wires up in behind our panel. Take our green wire and run that over to our passenger side, and we're going to make our connections the same way we did on the driver's side. Just want to locate our plug, and on this side it's going to be right up here. Same thing, just want to push in our tab and pull out our connection. Now we'll take our ends from our green wire. We have our male end. Line up our slots, get that clicked in place. Now we'll take our other side and run that into the plug on the car side of it. Give them a little pull, make sure we have those good and solid connection. And here's what it'll look like after you get that all plugged in. Now we ran our wire out of our box. We did pop this plastic grommet out, and we ended up putting a slit across it so we can slide this wire through and route it down through the floor. Now I did go ahead and get it all siliconed up because I do want to get the silicone dried up for our neighbor before he gets his vehicle back. So we got that running down through, and we do have it running down underneath to the mount that he had us install on his hitch. Now we need to get power to our box. So on this vehicle, this one being a hybrid, the battery is not under the hood, but you can access a power port under there, but easy enough. The thing that's nice about this is we take our spare tire out, just undo that, pull our tire up out of the way, and our battery is going to be right underneath the spare. Now under our spare tire, you can see that this is going to be our negative side, and the red is obviously going to be our positive. So now I need to get this cover off of the way with 4 nuts, and then we'll be able to access our port where we're going to hook up power for our box. Now we'll just get this ring out of the way, and we're going to have 4 13mm nuts. Those out, we can lift this out of the way. Now we just want to remove this protective red cover. Pop that out of the way. We can go and mount up to this terminal right here in the middle. Now with our fuse holder in the kit, we just want to cut that in half and strip off both of our ends. Now with both of our ends stripped, we will take a butt connector and get one installed on one end. Crimp that in place. And now since our battery is going to be up underneath of our spare tire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extension that will basically get our fuse holder to be outside of our tire. So if say they have to change the fuse in this, they'll be able to do it without taking the whole spare tire out. They'll be able to access it right over here. Take another heat shrink butt connector and run that onto our other end. Now with that, we can figure out we want to leave a little bit of wire. So right about here, I'm going to go ahead and make a cut. Now I'll strip off 2 ends. Now with that twisted, I can add on to the end of our fuse holder. Get that crimped in place. Clean up this other end. Crimp that in place. With that, that's going to give us enough room. We can have our fuse holder tucked back here where they can access it. Now I'll just cut off on the other end, strip that. Now I'll take my ring terminal and get that crimped into place. Now I'll come back through and heat up my heat shrink butt connectors with my heat source and get those shrunk into place. Now we're just going to back off this 10mm nut. And we'll get our ring terminal put in place. Now with that nice and tight, we can take our 15 amp fuse and get that put in place. So now all I have to do is make sure I line up my pen with my plug, get my cover put on, slide that over, now this will just push right into our mount. Now with that in place, you can pop on your cover and that'll keep it from having any corrosion. But for now, with that in place, we'll go ahead and test our wiring. We're going to turn lights on. We have them on now. We're going to do left turn. We'll do right turn. We'll do brakes, right turn, left turn with brakes, and lights off. All of our lights are working. Now with our lights tested and working, we're going to go back through and get everything put back in place. If we run into anything, we'll let you know. But for now, we're just going to get everything reinstalled. Now with everything put back together, that'll do it for our installation of our Curt 4-pole wiring for 2024 Ford Escape. I'm Scott with eTrailer, and thanks for watching.